Hey guys, it's Carrie Sue with the Sue and a J, and I am 4 days past a 5-day transfer. I just wanted to come on and give everybody an update as to what's going on, because I'm sure you're all curious how I'm feeling and what the next steps are. So our last time at the doctor was for our embryo transfer, and we were told at that point that we would find out Friday or Monday if we had any embryos to freeze. I called my nurse on Friday because I still hadn't heard from her, and she picked up the phone and said, "Unfortunately, I don't have good news for you." And immediately my heart just sank. I'm just beyond shocked that we got 21 eggs. For 5 days, we had 10 embryos. Basically, what they said is that of the 10, 5 stopped developing properly or stopped growing, which I expected to have maybe 1 or 2. So they said we saw 5. Of those 5, 1 was a perfect AA expanded blast, which is the one we put back in me. The other 4 were 2 early blasts and 2 compacting marulas, and our clinic only freezes them if they are top grade expanded blast. So that is something we did not know going into this. The paperwork, I've read over it, I've scoured the website. It says that they only freeze, or they freeze it if it reaches the blast stage. So I guess I understand why they didn't freeze the marulas, but our other ones were early blasts, and I think the part that's so hard about it is I've known so many people freeze early blast and compacting marulas, and it turns into babies later on. And my clinic swears by it. They said that's why we have the best statistics in the country, is because we only freeze them if they're expanded blast, because if they're not top grade, they only do them if they're AA or between AA and BB, which there's this whole grading scale. So they only freeze the top grade ones. All their statistics, she said, that they just don't survive or turn into healthy pregnancies. So they won't freeze them unless they get there. So we have none frozen. This was really hard to kind of digest for a few days. It still is hard, because had I known that, I think I would have definitely put 2 back in instead of just 1. Yeah, it's just, there's nothing I can do, and I'm not happy about it, and I'm sad about it, but we have 1 perfect blast in my belly, and I'm praying to God that it sticks, because not only do I want this baby, this specific baby, this little guy right here that I just keep looking at, not only do I want this specific baby, but I don't want to go through this again. It's funny because it was so easy the first couple days. Not easy, but I feel like the first week or so it was like, this is awesome, and I had fun with it. But after that, once I started driving to the clinic every other day and then staying in hotels and then started getting really uncomfortable, I was just done. And the thought right now of having to somehow find $2,500 for if we had to do this again, like if this didn't work, the thought of finding $2,500 for meds for another cycle and money for a hotel room and gas, like the thought of all of that absolutely terrifies me, because we've already spent, what, $34,000 this year? So I just want it to work so bad. I don't want to go through this again. So anyway, speaking of it working, not working, whatever, sorry, my hair's wet, so I'm like playing with it. I just got out of the shower. So I just wanted to kind of go over how I've been feeling, symptoms, emotions, all of that. So immediately following the transfer, I started having cramps. Immediately, just cramps. And they didn't really stop. Today, I'm 4 days past the transfer, and they're definitely not as bad. I have them every now and then, but it's not constantly in pain like it was the first 2 days after the transfer. So I've definitely been having cramps, pinching, pulling. And the hard thing is there's people who have cramps and it's like implantation and it's a really good sign and it means that it worked. And there's other people that have no symptoms and it worked, and vice versa. There's people who had tons of cramps and think it's a really good sign, and it didn't work. And so there's no telling what that means. Other symptoms, I do have sore boobs, which could be a pregnancy symptom. It could be from the progesterone. I'm still having trouble sleeping. I had headaches the last 2 days. I think that's it. Let's see. How am I doing emotionally? Oh my gosh. The first 2 days after the transfer, I was pretty good. Like, emotionally. I was like, I would say I was 50-50. Like, I think there's a really good chance it could work, but, you know, maybe not because it was only one and blah, blah, blah. And I would just kind of go back and forth. Like, one moment I would feel really positive that it worked, and the next moment I was like, oh my gosh, I do not want to go through this again, and it probably didn't work, and blah, blah, blah. So day 3, which was yesterday, was the hardest day. After finding out we didn't have any embryos, that was even harder. So I definitely cried with that, was upset. But yesterday, I was super emotional. I guess that's a symptom. I was super, super emotional yesterday. And I am not, sorry guys, this drives me nuts. I am not an emotional person. So we watched a movie on Netflix called Of Mice and Men. And I don't cry at movies. I actually get really mad at my husband when he cries at movies. I get annoyed at his sensitivity because I'm not a sensitive person. And we watched Of Mice and Men, which, first of all, is an incredible movie. It just, there's so much you can pull away from it. There's a lot of, like, GDs and language, which I'm not a fan of. I actually really wish they didn't have to put that stuff in there. It doesn't do anything for me. But anyway, it was an incredible movie. You can pull a lot from it. But there was a scene where a dog got shot. And I, not even just like choked up a little bit, just like blubbering. And my husband's looking at me like, because I'm the girl who doesn't cry. And then we've been watching The Office. These weird scenes where Michael Scott does something really sweet for Pam Beasley and I'm in tears. Or the moment where Jim Halpert tells Pam that he's in love with her, I'm in tears, and I don't cry at movies. So that's been another thing. That could totally be from the hormones that I'm on as well, but I've definitely been more emotional. So anyway, back to how I'm feeling about IVF. Today, I feel pretty hopeful. I do. I feel really hopeful that it worked. I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm feeling like it worked. I do. At the same time, I have these little moments where I kind of freak out at the thought of having to go through this again. Please, God, I do not want to do this again. Anyway, I definitely have been up and down with my emotions. One minute I'm just sure it worked, and the next minute I'm absolutely sure it didn't. And today I'm pretty hopeful that this little baby stuck and is going to stick around. But I have my little moments too where I just kind of freak out. But I wanted to also give you guys an update as to what's next. And a lot of people are like, so when are we going to know if you're pregnant or not? I don't know. Our blood test isn't until next Wednesday. That's when our beta HCG is next Wednesday. And I cannot wait that long. Most fertility clinics do the blood test 9 days after the transfer. Mine does it 13 days after. Yay, I get to wait more days. No, not 13, like, I don't know. It's just a long time. It's a lot longer than most clinics do it. So there's no way I can wait till next Wednesday to find out. We will definitely test. I'm not sure when. And I'm not sure if we'll tell you guys the day we find out, or if we want to kind of just enjoy that moment. I'm not sure. So you guys will just have to kind of wait. Yeah. So please keep praying for this little embryo to stick and be healthy and grow properly and implant in the right place. I mean, there's so many things. What's so hard doing fertility treatments is that you know everything. Like, I literally know everything that can go wrong. And so that kind of stays in your mind all the time. It just constantly can overtake your mind if you let it, about everything that can possibly go wrong and all the what ifs. So there's still so much of a miracle that needs to take place in my belly. So please keep praying for that, and just pray for Jeremy and I over the next few days as we try and just have steady emotions with whether or not it worked, and also that we would have peace and joy even if it didn't work, that it just wasn't God's timing and that there is more in store for us. So anyway, guys, have a great day. I will keep you posted.